Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. It's the interview series presented by WFPK at WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thanks as always for making your way here. Checking out the episode. I do hope you hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with all the new interviews that I put out every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Great way to keep up with your favorite artists, discover some new ones, all the usual spots in podcast land, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc., or here on YouTube for the video versions. I'm Kyle Meredith. Today, my guest, Bring Me the Horizon. Going to be talking with Oliver and Matt about their upcoming record. It's not quite been announced yet, although they've done a couple singles over the past year, and this is the part 2 of their Post-Human series, which they announced a few years ago. As they're going to tell you, it's taking a little longer to roll the whole thing out. I think it's going to be 3 or 4 parts, 5 parts by the end of it. But anyway, we got to record this one backstage at the Louder Than Life Festival here in Louisville, Kentucky, just a few weeks ago, actually. So we got to sit down, talk about the record, mental health, their changing sounds, and a whole lot more. So much fun to do this one. So I'm going to hand it over to me and the guys. It's Kyle Meredith with Bring Me the Horizon.
Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with. I'm here at the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. And I've got with me Oliver and Matt from Bring Me the Horizon. Hi, guys.
Hello.
All right.
Pleasure to meet you both here. It's an exciting time. It's not like you're ever stopping with new music, I feel like, but now we've got one Post-Human album finally put to bed, and it seems like we're in the world now of the second one with a couple singles out. So that's an easy place to start. Like, where are we in this story right now? Where are we in the Post-Human story?
So I guess we're not as far on as we'd like to be, if I'm honest.
We're in the trenches.
Yeah.
We're always in the trenches.
But yeah, I mean, since the pandemic kind of ended and things got back to normal, and then we started touring again. It's like, I think at the time of when we were like, well, we'll do 4 records, we're stuck in this pandemic for like 5 years. So we thought we'd have more time of absolutely nothing. Whereas now touring and everything's kicked back off, it's a little more difficult to find time, especially with people having families and shit. So we're not as far on as we'd like to be, but this tour is actually, our tour bus has got a studio on the back. So we got a special bus just to really, knuckle down and get on with it, which is a great time because we're on tour and, we have a show to play at night, but apart from that, it's pretty boring. So
see, a lot of artists will say that, like, oh, I'll write on the road, and then they do not write on the road.
Oh no, we're fully going to write on the road.
Yeah, so it's happening.
We do that a lot anyway, but we're using this time as like, it's a really good time of no distractions, we can just get on and crack on, and it feels quite exciting to be making music at the same time as going out and playing the night and getting that kind of buzz from the show. And I don't know, I feel like it's going to be really good for the actual record.
Yeah, it's interesting just seeing that the way you guys put this together, and I think a lot of artists, whoever have done things sort of similar, saying, oh, I'm going to do a long project, and then time happens and they get 2 years into it, and it's like, why did I announce that? I mean, have you all hit that point, like, why did we say that we were going to do 4?
Yeah, a little bit.
Nah, I mean, it's that unknown. I think it was important for us to, like, step into that unknown, and, we felt, albums are such a fucking slog to make, and something don't feel right about the way we're consuming music now, as, like, listeners, like, and albums, and I think we wouldn't have had the guts maybe to do what we did, but with lockdown, we're like, fuck it. Like, this is something I've always wanted to do and try something different. And I think it's just embracing it and letting go and being like, it's just music.
Yeah.
However long it takes, we're going to release music, and we're getting to do stuff like so much more immediately. Like, we write a song, we want people to hear the song, and then within a month it's out, where usually it's like 6 months, and you're sick of it yourself. And I like that, I'm not saying we'll never do an album again, but having that more immediacy, and do you know what I mean? It's because music's like, a song is as much of an event as an album now, in terms of like it's released. I mean, there's no difference between what's a single anymore and what's an album. It's all just music. Do you know what I mean? So it's exciting to have that, and I think it's just like just embracing that unknown and be like, this is different, but also like the only pressure is on ourselves. You know what I mean? There's no actual deadline. There's no actual, it could be another fucking 5 years until we release the last one. Hopefully not, but at the same time, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
That's what it takes. Matt, for you, I mean, you all do change up your sound, a little bit with each release, and I think that's the fun thing about being a fan, that it's always kind of an adventure. What has this new set meant, from your side of things?
I think every album I've had to learn how to drum a different style. Do you know what I mean? Like I would never, personally, I never had drum lessons or anything. I learned how to play drums by playing shows. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And at first it was just scatty, not really good. You know what I mean? And then as the band progressed, I've actually had to learn how to play drums properly, like real grooves, proper rhythms, not just fast or slow. You know what I mean? So it's cool. So I'm learning on the job.
Right.
But yeah, it's cool. I mean, like, I would have never thought when I first started the band that I'd be playing like dance beats or things like that, or even just like pop beats. I always just thought fast or slow metal drumming, you know what I mean? And but no, it's cool. It's an evolution of sound, so I've got to go with it. I can't really blast beat over a fucking pop song, can I? Well, I could, but it'd be shit.
No, it could be sick, actually.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what this set sounds like. I mean, this feels like the more melodic set. Do you think of that going into it? Like, okay, we've done that record. This record's going to be X. I mean, is it that planned out? Do you map it out that strictly?
Thematically, they are. Like, this is the first time we've been like we want the whole record in itself to like be a vibe. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Where I think like, especially the last few records have been a bit more collage, where it's just like, here's a dance song, here's a poppier song, here's like a more rock and roll song. Do you know what I mean? Right. Whereas it like Post-Human Survival Horror had a bit more of like kind of quintessential bring me, early noughties influenced rock and mix it with our metalcore sound and stuff, whereas the next record is very influenced by emo and post-hardcore and a range of different stuff as well, but it's gonna really feel like from start to finish feel like a strong energy of something. So that much is but I think as well it's one thing we're trying to do is not like, obviously we like pop melodies and we like that kind of stuff, but we're trying to, rather than mix it into our metal or rock sound and dilute it, we're trying to keep the extremities of both. So we're trying to keep the records feeling heavy and aggressive, but have those like pop sensibilities. And I think that's the real challenge and why it's slower, because we don't want those things that we like to like dilute our sound. We want them to add to it but still feel extreme.
It's got to be a hard trick to play, but you've been pulling it off. 2 songs we heard so far, with the latest being Strangers. I mean, it's such a good thing, a powerful song. I would ask about it, I've heard you talk about, with this song, the mental health aspect to it, and, where did that come from? What is the story you do want to say on this record? Because I've also heard you say it's a record of recovery. Yeah,
totally. So where the first record was a bit of like a call to arms and looking towards the future with a lot of uncertainty, being angry, scared, quite rightly, this record's like, okay, so what do we do then? How do we recover from socially and as a planet and as people? How do we evolve? Because, in a way, we're not really evolving anymore, not in the sense that we know, because we've stepped out of the food chain. We've stepped out with technology, is meaning like we can live longer, whether it's no longer the survival of the fittest in that sense, you know what I mean? So it's almost like up to us how we evolve and what we do and how we become better and how we look after this planet and, what is that course of action? I feel like we're all a bit like, I don't know. And I think it is about looking personally and feeling like your gut instincts and your own morals and values as a person, like aligning that with a bigger sense. So, I've always thought like, you're never going to have compassion for another person or creature until you've got like true compassion for yourself. And I think this record is about exploring that and kind of saying, to people like how important it is to be open about your feelings, to somehow one day like get to a place where you can say I love myself and I'm proud of who I am, and I'm different to other people and stuff. And I think especially in our community and our scene, it's like that sounds pretty cheesy, do you know what I mean? And I think it's about going, but it's so important, do you know what I mean? I used to be a person who talked to myself so badly, and I think there's almost like a romanticism about that, like being down on yourself and being negative. And I think it's like trying to unpick that and find out how we become like, you know, how we get out of that.
It's important stuff. I really do think people need to hear that. You know, and the fact that you can make it poetic and then you can put a dance beat to it. Like I said, it's no easy feat. I'm such a big fan of what you all do. I'm so excited to see you guys on the stage. You've had Amy Lee on the records. I mean, are we going to get in Youngbloods here? It's like you guys planned this or something.
Yeah,
everybody's here. I mean, tell me there's going to be some surprises today.
True. Yeah, I mean,
It wouldn't be a surprise if we told you about
yeah,
it.
exactly.
This is going to air so much later.
Now, Youngblood's definitely going to come out with us tonight, and we wanted to make something work with Amy, but the song we did together is not really a festival tune, which she said herself. So maybe not this time, but you know, we'll definitely see each other again.
It's a hell of a collaboration. You guys sounded great on that one.
Thanks.
Must be something singing with a voice that big too. You know?
Yeah.
She's a great. Guys, thank you so much.
Nice one.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you. Cheers.
And thanks to my guest. Also, thanks to you for checking out the episode in the series. Before you get out of here, hit that subscribe button. Again, you get 3 brand new interviews every single week. New one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at right here on YouTube, or of course anywhere in podcast land, including iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podchaser, NPR, or WFPK.org as well. A great way to keep up with your favorite artists and discover new ones as well. Then after that, actually head over to WFPK.org. That's where I do a show Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. It's an hour full of song premieres, music news, anniversary spins, bonus interviews, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern at WFPK.org. Consequence has your music and film news. You can also find me on the social media spots, Facebook, Instagram, mostly on Twitter. All 3 of them, the address is at Kyle Meredith. Do hope you like and follow along. That does it for another edition. I'm Kyle Meredith. I'll see you next time.